Hello, folks. This is Reason Logic, Logic and Reason. Bug Logic, if you may. I actually left a comment on a YouTube channel for Abba and Preach about being a homeless veteran, which I have been, and yes, sadly, multiple times. And I mostly got really good feedback from it, like, hey, this is really good advice. This is, something I wish I would have known back then. Or, hey, I'm thinking about joining the military. What should I do? Blah, 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 blah. And like I told everybody's experience is very, very different. Very. Hell, I got the military, got my degree in Miami, was homeless in Miami for a little bit. But hey, my degree got me where I'm at now. So I'm actually pretty happy on where I'm at. I just can't grow real beard with shit. Just saying. One thing I would like, but we had this one commenter, which I went back and forth with. I'm not sure if it's a he or her, but sounded like a dependent military. He or she, I can't say who, can't say what. I don't know what gender, non-binary. I don't know. But one thing I said is I went to God, I went to church and surrounded myself with good people who actually treated me good. Because I tried to go to the VA for the same type of counseling and it just didn't stick. Yeah, I went to church. Holy there's nothing wrong with going to church. Alright? Nothing wrong. You can be atheist, go to church and surround yourself with good people. You can. You might learn some stuff too. Because sometimes you really have to look at it this way. If you don't have a lot of friends, a lot of family around, which whenever I went through a very dark time in my life when I was homeless, I went, I finally got back into church because you already know how it works. It's just like a parent when their kid fails or falls on their face or, hey, I need help. You're a kid, you fail, you go running back to your parents asking for help because those are the people who are going to make sure that you're okay. My parent at that time, because I was at least 3,000 miles away from my actual blood family, so I went to God. Did I abuse it? Yes, just like most of us do. Get a blessing and then just go screw it all away, pretty much. Oh, I'm good now. I can just do all this other stuff, right? But then whenever you actually go back to God, you have to go with a full heart. You have to go there with a full heart. If you don't, you cannot. RP cannot go there half-heartedly. You have to go there with a full heart, saying like, "Hey, I do need help. I, I need you. I need a guiding light and all this other stuff, right?" Because let me get a little backstory on me. I was homeless. I was living out of my car. My ex got my car towed. Lived in my truck. My ex got my truck towed because they were both in the complex where I was paying the rent for her and my son to stay. And of all places I went, I had a bag, my sea bag, full of stuff, right? What all my possessions that I could actually get from that house and put into my bag, I did. And the only place I could go to was a church literally across the street from where my truck and my car was. Well, used to be. I did the whole homeless lifestyle thing for a minute. I will never eat McDonald's again, ever. I lived off their dollar menu for the longest time. I used to be very ornery. I used to be very angry. Just I would go in there for a cup of water and I would go use the restroom and I would go back to sleep in my car, right? And then, just one night out of nowhere, I'm sitting there like I'm not cursing God, but I had a bone to pick. So I'm sleeping in my work uniform, plus a jacket, plus everything, because I was in the Northwest and that cold sucks. And I remember a knock on my window, right? And I was on there like, dude, you need to move. You need to do something. Well, I was just pissed off beyond all belief because I actually drove my car to the McDonald's parking lot to create distance. So I wouldn't have to see my son go to daycare in the morning, see her get out, and go to work in the morning. And it just hurt my heart. Excuse me. Mm. So hear that knock on my window. I'm just pissed off at the world. I'm just like, dude, what in the fuck do you want? Do you need me to move? Do you need me to just vacate the premises? And I was just pissed off. I was yelling at teenagers. And they gave me a damn near a satchel, a sack of burgers and cold ass fries. And the manager told the workers to go outside to give this to me because the manager saw what I was going through. Cried like a bitch. I ain't gonna lie about that. Cried like an entire bitch. And because of that one, I'm forever grateful for the McDonald's workers in Auburn, Washington. You're some real ones. I appreciate that. You didn't have to do it for me. And you know what? It made me feel a whole lot better. And I really look back at it and say, like, hey, you know what? Y'all were great to me. And I'm sorry for being an asshole. And after all that, and after, my truck got towed, car got towed, sold my dog, everything like that, kept everything in the house. That, like, she did me dirty. It is what it is. She did me dirty. And after all that, it was a cold, rainy day. I know it sounds like a fucking soap opera. But then I went to God and I asked him, like, what am I supposed to do? I'm trying to take care of my son. I'm trying to do the most. I'm paying all the rent. I'm doing all this. Like, what else can I do? What do you want from me? Yada, yada, yada. And I got a text message from my mother. Hey, how you doing? Old school black mother voice. And I started crying like a bitch. I said, Mom, I need to come home. And folks, if you don't know what men do whenever they take a hit to their pride like that, saying like, hey, mommy, daddy, I need to come home. I can't do it on my own. Did it for almost a year. Living at work, living out of my vehicles, and drinking myself to sleep. And my mother, who is a very intelligent woman, she actually had saved money for whenever I messed up. She knew. She knew. She knew. Because I had did my entire thing, the whole Abin Preach post, whatever I did, and I told just like what I did to survive. The backseat ain't it's not the most horrible place in the world. Sometimes that bring you more peace. Go to church. Get a membership at a very cheap gym so you can shower, shit, shave. Get a storage. Put down a address. So you can get a storage. So you can put personal belongings, everything like that. Just stuff it in there. And all my personal belongings are just gone now because I left the state of Washington, and on top of that, I stopped paying. I lived off the dollar menu, and I worked my ass off. 3 jobs. It was horrifying. Carpet cleaning company, worked at Applebee's, and worked private security. Of course, so I could provide for my son and my ex-wife. Because your responsibilities don't stop even if you're homeless. Trust and believe. The core system will stick you to that. But yeah, whenever I hit rock bottom and then my mom bailed me out, which I'm very grateful for that. Could I survive on my own? Yes. Would it have been miserable? Yes. But my mother and my father, like, which they have damn near the same mind when it comes to me. What good are you to your son? What good are you if you're dead, homeless, or in jail? So, came back home. Came back here to Texas. And I drank myself to sleep. I was ornery and angry with everybody. I challenged everybody. Even my own father. I look back at it when I first got back here. I was very, very toxic. And this is the reason why I made that post. I'm like, dude, if you have to survive like this is what you're supposed to do. And I had to deal with a person who actually didn't like what I had to say because of, oh, you didn't do it the right way. Church doesn't fix everything. Well, church doesn't fix everything, but it sure as hell fixed me. I was surrounded by good people who said, like, you know what, you're gonna make it, you're gonna make it, you're gonna make it. Eventually, something good is gonna happen. No, I thank God, and I thank my parents. Thank God I have my parents in my life, so I can actually survive and I can actually do the things I needed to do, and that was making sure, like, hey, sorry, gotta pay child support. It sucks, but I gotta pay it. Get myself out of debt. Calm down on drinking, but it's been a long night, so. But it also taught me in my relationships how not to hold people to ridiculous standards. Cause that's what my ex-wife did. She held me to ridiculous standards. Like I had to provide, I had to protect, and then on top of that, I had to cook, clean, and I had to sit there and rear children, everything like that. And she says, "No, my job is our kid." Never say she's a bad mother. She is a great mother. She just wasn't a good wife. Nor was I a good husband. Hold myself accountable 100% of the time for that. I should have left earlier, but I didn't because I was blinded by my love for my child. Sometimes you have to get that out of your head and say, like, hey, if I'm not good, how is my kid good? So whenever I got good, whenever I left that little church right there off of Avenue, I was like I Street in Auburn, Washington, I came back home, drank myself stupid, was doing the most, just living bachelor lifestyle. You have no idea. Then I said, you know what? I need to go back to church. And my father told me, said, if you're single, why the hell don't you have two jobs? Hell, three. Why not? You're young. Might as well do it. And I did. And I started working and working and working. Got myself out of debt. Did everything I needed to do. I have a long distance relationship with my son, which sucks, but I'll take what I can get. And then I, so like I said, like I did all this, and I started seeking out a church. That's what I did. Now going back to the post who I did on Aberrant Preach, she was mad that I didn't go to a professional, and I was just like, what's more professional than person in church? Church religion actually changes dudes in jail. The hardest, baddest, biggest motherfuckers that sit there and run the streets and go to jail one time and get humbled, go back to church. What makes me better than that? It doesn't. So, started going back to church, started doing my own thing, and then it put me in a better position and actually put me on the right path to becoming a man and also looking at things from a different light. Because all I wanted to see is the truth. All I wanted to see was the truth, even if it hurt me. I found out a lot of things about myself and just listening. Like, oh, pastors are full of shit, reverends are full of shit, deacons, all this other stuff. I'm like, yeah, but here's the whole thing. It comes from somewhere else. And I listen to the words, I listen to the message. Sometimes I don't care about the messenger. Because I've met men who can sell somebody snake oil, but that person goes somewhere else and becomes a whole person. Just because it comes from a different source that you don't like, the message is still the same. Just like I told this one person, like I said, I don't know who he or she is, but it sounds like a dependent in the military. Sorry, my wife came out and had to talk about other things. Nothing bad. Nothing bad. So anyway, went to church, did all this stuff, and I said like, okay, fuck the messenger. What's the message? Straight up. And now I kind of apply it. The message. See, excuse me. Oof. Burped up chicken wings. This is terrible. But the message itself, I'm like, and it said like, yeah, as soon as you go to God, as soon as you go to any sort of higher power or something bigger than yourself, bad things are gonna happen to you. And trust me, they happened. And yeah, I've been going through the thick of it, but at the same time, I still try to keep up a relationship with my son. I still try to keep my wife happy as much as I can. And I go to work, I volunteer, I do all this other stuff. And you know what? I feel better when I wake up. But you drink, but you smoke. Yeah, and the same people that tell me that are the ones that are screwing people that aren't their husband and also paying for dinners for people who are not their wives. Excuse me. Nobody's perfect. Just like what happened with Derek Jackson. He ain't perfect. He lied a lot, but nah, he's human. I chalk it up to him like the man made his money. He did. He made his money. He made it off the sweat and the backs of single mothers and also lonely women. He did. He did 100%, and he did it very well. But now you found he ain't perfect. Just like Kevin Samuels ain't perfect, Donald Sharp ain't perfect, fucking Coach Greg Adams ain't perfect. None of these people are perfect. The woman that wrote for Cosmopolitan is not perfect. She actually had a husband. Like she wrote all this stuff back in the 70s. What men really want, what women really want, everything like that, blah 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 blah. She was just writing stuff to get money. She ain't perfect, and she says that out front. And going back to what I originally posted, I'm like, dude, I'm not perfect, but you know what? I went to God. I did what I needed to do, and then it led me to a direction where I am right now, and I'm doing better. Just because of the fact that I say fuck or shit or damn or twat or dick or pussy doesn't mean that I'm not a God fearing man. It just shows you that I'm human. Just like if she said like, okay, I'm pretty sure it's a she because she sounds like a dependent. She sounds like she's going through some sort of trauma, and she likes to control the conversation. She says like, "Oh no, you should be doing this." I'm like, "Are you?" And I asked her, "I'm like, are you going through this with your spouse while in the military? Because being a military spouse is one of the hardest jobs on the planet. Being faithful right now in this day and age sucks ass." And the whole thing is, it may be something that her husband's going through, and it's not put out there the way it should be, and where they can correct it. I'm sorry, like it sounded like if she was very upset. She double backed. She did shaming language, all this other stuff, right? Oh, you're being passive aggressive. Why are you doing this? And this is where the anchor drops. This is where I say, stop giving people power. She can't control me. She can't control the type of guy that I am. I found God. I go and relax. I do whatever I need to do. And her trying to tell me what to do, and I say like, "Hey, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm content. I'm this and that." And it's just like, "Oh no, you didn't do it my way." And I told him like, because of the fact that I don't give you power, you're mad. You like to control conversation. You like to control everything else. And when it's out of your control, you don't like it. I'm like, I used to be the same way. Not afraid to admit that shit. But if you are, you can't control a conversation, everything like that. If we constantly have to have control, what is going on with you? Because I can have a conversation with damn near anybody. I don't give a fuck if you are Islam. I don't give a fuck if you're Jewish. I don't give a fuck if you believe in Buddhism, being Confucius, or whatever, or atheist, or non-denominational, or whatever. I don't care. I can still have a conversation with you because what does the big guy upstairs tell you? Love yourself, love thy enemies, and love everybody else. Just preach the word. That's what I'm doing. May not be in the way that you like, but I'm doing it. But anyway, folks, that was my rant for tonight. I had my little drinky poo, had my cigarette, and I'm going to go ahead and go lay down with my wife and both my dogs. They keep sleeping between my legs. My back hurts in the morning. Now I'm gonna pray over my wife. I'm gonna pray over my son. I'm gonna pray over everybody else. I'm gonna pray over my enemies. I'm gonna pray over all of it. You know why? Because I don't care about what you think about me. I simply say I wish good for everyone. But this is your boy, Reason, Logic, and Reasons, and I am out. You have yourself a wonderful night. Much love.